Yo, yo, what's good, Kevin Hicks? I'll let a few more of y'all join up and we'll see what's good, man. What's up? He said, what's up to the peoples? What's good with you, man? Just heard, well, I didn't just hear it today, but I just heard a couple days ago, I think yesterday, that Jalen Ramsey is definitely considering the Cowboys like one of the teams on his wish list. So, I mean, is that a dream or a nightmare? We don't know yet, but we'll get into it. I'll wait for a few more of y'all to join up and then we'll go from there, man. We'll go from there. Let me Young Money, what's good with you, Brody? What's good? For sure. Matt, what's up, my guy? Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, what's up? All right, yeah, it's about 12 of y'all in here. That's enough to start him up. All right, let me first, start off by saying shout out to all my AKs, man. Everybody who supports the channel and do what they supposed to do, man. I appreciate that. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. And Suave shit, what's good, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But what up though? Appreciate the support, man. Remember, you guys can definitely make sure that you either at me in the in the comments. Let me know what you want me to break down next. I know a lot of y'all want me to break down like college football stuff like that. You can super chat me for questions. You can cash at me, and definitely with the cash apps. I know a lot of you sent me the cash app the last video. Don't just say this is for the channel because I thank you, but that's not what I want you to do it for. Like when you want me to specifically break something down, that's mainly what that's for. So if you want me to break something down specific, I go by that. Like if people are saying, hey man, I want to put my money behind this player, or I want you to look at this guy, or I want you to do this type of video, it helps me because I get to understand it for like what y'all really want to see. Um, B Rod, what up, man? I told you that's my college roommate name, so I'm never gonna forget your name. He said, yes, sir, let's get it. What's good? Matt said, my bad. What the fuck? I don't know why you said that, but hey, that's what's up. But anyway, let's dig in, man. Like I said, y'all know Jalen Ramsey is on the radar, and I wanted to see like, okay, is this guy? Because you know how I am. I don't believe shit until I see it on the film, and I mean like film without broadcast. I know he makes plays, but what does he do, and how does he impact the defense, and what could he do for the Cowboys defense? That's something that I wanted to look at, and I'm also in the middle of looking at Bobby Wagner, so it made it easy because they both were on the same team last year. So while watching my Bobby Wagner film, I got a chance to take a sneak peek at Jalen Ramsey, and uh, I mean, he does not disappoint, man. Does not disappoint. So we're going to do. Last time I shared the screen on the running backs video, when I blew it up, it lags. So you guys are just going to see some behind the scenes. I'm still going to release the actual breakdown, but this is just a behind the scenes of the breakdown for Jalen Ramsey. A quick one, not nothing too long, and I'll go through play by play instead of just like kind of talking through it. I'll go through our pause on each play just so you can see what it is that I'm looking at, and specifically what it is that he brings to a defense that is impactful. While I'm in this screen, I might not see some of your comments. Shout out to all y'all before I jump in there. Dom, what up? Let me see what he said real quick. He said, what up, Okoye? I was the dude disagreeing with you the other day about Zeke. I want to pop in and show some love. No, definitely appreciate all the disagreements. When you want to disagree, man, for sure, like you guys can even jump on. I just put the link in the description. I welcome all that, Dom. Like, don't think I'm on there like frantically arguing like my feelings involved. There's no feelings involved. I'm just a great debater. That's just the way I am. So if you guys really want to disagree, or if you want to agree, I don't care what you want to say. The link is always in the description when I go live. So y'all always welcome to do that, man. Click on it. I'll see you in the queue. But try to hold off on that for just a second because I gotta do this little breakdown real quick. So I won't even see you because I'm about to switch screens on my end. I won't see this screen. But I appreciate that. T Mac, what up? He said also if it came down to taking I'm taking Odell before Ramsey. I don't think you would, bro. Not when you see this breakdown because this defense will become a superstar defense, period. If you grab Jalen Ramsey and Bobby Wagner, if you were going to go grab Ramsey, like if I said, hey, if you were looking at a corner in the second round or maybe in the first round, I would consider trading a second round pick for Jalen Ramsey. I don't think I would trade a first because I don't think you're going to keep Jalen and Diggs for very long together because of the price tag that's going to come with both those guys. But if you want to go at it this year, at this season, I would definitely consider a second round. That's just me. That's just me. Oh, he said he accidentally put B. Rob in timeout. Oh, I got you. Now I know what you meant. Okay, I think Ramsey is a great physical tackler, especially in stopping the runs as well as covering receivers. I say take him. That payday he would hurt. Yeah, he would want as hurt would hurt. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, let's jump right in, man. I'll be back in a second. I'll be back on the screen in 1 second, people. And give me a second, and we are out of here. Hold on a second. Let me jump over here and present. Boom. All right, here we go. I'm going to the other screen just so I can control it a little better. All right, I don't gotta look at all this. This is the prequel for. There we go. Let's jump right into it. So you just mentioned tackling, and I like the way he comes up. We all know what Diggs doesn't do, man. I like the way he comes up and tackles for sure. He's definitely aggressive, but it's not just his aggression. He reads and assesses very well. Still patient, but aggressive at the same time. I like how he slid under Kelsey there and made that tackle. So we see that a lot out of Ramsey, but it doesn't really show as much because at the end of the day, we don't really look at corners as integral parts of the run game, but they definitely are when they can come down and do that. He baits here. He's just trailing. He reads this play and he knows where they're going with this football. He baits him there and then just tries to jump this route. But you saw him jogging in the background on that play, and he does that a lot too. So the way the Rams are using him, and he's far better. He makes the secondary far better because he does what Diggs kind of does for us right now, which is allows you to shift your defense to the opposite side. The difference is if Jalen Ramsey is on one side of this defense and you're shifting everything to the middle, really, because you'll be helping out Bland, you'll be taking away the middle of the field because you wouldn't even shift over top of Diggs as much because Diggs can kind of handle himself as well. But it'll allow Diggs, instead of being the first read, it helps Diggs a lot because it allows Diggs to be the second progression. And what I mean by that is and you'll see it later with Hill, if Diggs playing with his eyes the way he does, if he knows, okay, that quarterback's first read is going to be taken away by Ramsey, I'm the second read, it allows Diggs that split second to be able to break on things a little bit better. But as you see in this portion of the film, it also allows those guys to take away some of those windows for quarterbacks because he's daring you. You're like, okay, I got this side of the field, and you can see how much action he's not getting at the bottom of the screen. So the quarterbacks are not going at him at all. But he'll use the same looks twice too. So here he knows, okay, you're in that bunch form. I'm going to play off. And when I play off, I just want to see what you do. Here they dare him. They throw underneath. And it looks like, he doesn't have a clue. They run him off with Gage, and then he comes down on that and makes a good hit. And you would think, okay, we got that all day. But you don't. And Allen's smart enough not to jump in this window and do it. But Diggs does as well. Like if you do something to Diggs once, don't try it twice. They did the same thing again, and he knew better. Allen knew better than to do it. But look at his options at the bottom of the screen because of the amount of space that Jalen Ramsey takes up on a defense. You don't have anywhere else to really go with the ball. This helps tremendously with guys like Parsons, who's going to be wreaking havoc down underneath with Lawrence and those guys on the defensive line. You get more sacks because of this, because these are called like coverage sacks. You guys know what they are. You play Madden. But you get more sacks because of this, because before the snap goes, they're daring you to throw at a guy that you dare not throw at. So this is almost a dare. You know what I mean? They're daring you to throw at them, and you can't. So you're going to either throw underneath or you're going to force an air throw if you're under pressure into windows that you don't really want to throw into. And you can see that here, and it just stood out on the film. So some of the stuff that you might not see on the stat sheet, you don't realize what's really happening with this defense because he's there. The same look, once again, he's playing off and they're shifting everything, especially when they get in the red zone. They do this a lot with him. Unless there's a big name tight end, they'll put him in the slot like they do here. But it's almost a dare. Like, where they're going with the football because he's daring you to do it. That's the only window to go into. Although that's not Ramsey at the top of the screen, he knows, and the coordinator knows before snap, this is where they must go with the football. Unless you want to throw at Ramsey, which you don't want to do. And you're throwing in the tight windows all day. And it translates into a lot of interceptions or a lot of good breaks on footballs by lesser corners. Because Hill, I'm not going to say Hill's not good opposite Ramsey, but he was a lot better. Number two, he was a lot better because Ramsey exists. And that's something that you guys are not going to see on the stat sheet at all. But all these little flat throws, and we'll talk about Wagner next. That's really what I was working on with this. I'll just point this out. Wagner, he's very patient, but that little stutter step he does here, like he plays linebacker a lot like LeVar Arrington, where he plays it like a running back, where he uses his feet to kind of throw you off and to throw linemen off to get them into engaging, opening up a hole for the running back because he's stuttering. I'll actually will show that again while I'm talking about it. His first step, now he's reading here. He sees this here, but instead of like aggressively getting downhill and filling this gap there, instead of jumping in here, what he does is he kind of hesitates because he trusts his speed and his lateral movement. He hesitates to pull and draw the line towards him, and also to because he understands how a running back is going to read. He knows that running back is going to read. Okay, I'm going right, and then he accelerates there quickly but he created the hole himself by drawing the lineman out to him, and then he just cuts him up and gets straight to the gap. But he created that, whereas other linebackers might just get downhill and get blocked, or might go and seek engagement and then have to shed and get to the hole, creating other holes on opposite sides of him. His patience there and his trust in his athleticism. And I know we're not breaking down Wagner here, but I just thought I'd point that out because it was in the film. Because this is, like I said, this is behind the scenes. But his trust in his own athleticism, his athleticism is what opened that up there. When they put him inside, and I like when they do it, they'll put Ramsey inside even on a third receiver, second receiver, or your first guy, doesn't matter. But when they're doing it specifically to force you to throw longer throws on the outside while those corners are sitting. And I saw them do this in this game. I saw them do it in every game that they played. They'll put Ramsey inside because they know, okay, when you have a guy that guys don't want to throw at, how do we force you to throw at second looks or other guys so they can get breaks on the football? And the defense knows it. So Hill knows this, that they don't want to throw at Ramsey. They kind of know. Josh Allen ain't even going to look over there. Hill knows that he already sitting on that. Before the ball is out, right here, he's already breaking on this ball, even though Josh Allen's trying to look him off. He's already breaking on this football because he knows they ain't throwing at Ramsey and Wagner across the middle. And before it even gets out, he's already breaking on it. It's a good play by a good throw and a tight window throw, a good play by Diggs. But, you see what the concept is there, and they're going to do it over and over again. Pre-snap, Ramsey and those guys know they ain't throwing the ball over here, fam. It ain't happening. And when we see this, it's not like something, I'm not trying to glorify Ramsey like we don't see this already with Diggs. We do see this with Diggs, but when you have a Ramsey on the opposite side who plays a little bit more tight in man coverage, that makes it so that you have to, if you move him around the right way, you have to throw at Diggs and Bland. And both those guys, along with Izzy as well, prove that they could be ball hawks, and J. Lou. So if you have guys that are already great ball hawks, in my opinion, in our secondary, and you put a guy like Ramsey on it, and you force the quarterback to throw untimely throws at our guys, that just takes our turnover ratio up even higher. And you'll see Hill, like I said, he's a good corner, but you're going to see what he really is when Ramsey's not there, because Ramsey was allowing him to do a lot of things. There goes Bobby again with his hesitation. He's hesitating. He's really playing spy there, but he gets a sack because of it. But he hesitates his way into the gap. I mean, there's nothing real special there, but you saw what it was. And if you are going to attack Ramsey, this is the other way they use Ramsey. So now they're shifting pre-snap. You can see that they're obviously shifting due to their alignments, due to the offensive alignment. They're ISOing them, and they're baiting you, saying, okay, now and he's pressing with nothing over the top. So they're saying, please throw the ball at me. You know what I mean? But you got to be perfect when you do. And this is a perfect throw, back shoulder pass. Diggs does this very well, but you're not going to do this quite often to Ramsey. You know what I mean? But he's like, look, if you're going to do that, please, I'm going to show you the same thing. They see they got that look. This coordinator, I don't know who their coordinator is, but he knows what they want to do based off of a look. So they said, okay, if they back shouldered this time, let's give them the same press look with an ISO coverage. Let's see what happens. And it's almost enticing enough for Josh Allen to actually throw into this window, which he doesn't do. But the hesitation allows you to see, okay, now they flipped Hill and Ramsey. So now Hill's in the slot, covering that slot receiver, and Ramsey's playing press man on that side. And they're daring you to throw at that wheel route. And Ramsey's playing good trail technique here. He's never out of position, but it looks like you could kind of try to squeeze the ball over the top. And Allen wants to do it. But He doesn't. But that split second, this is why I say Diggs and Bland would eat with Ramsey here. This split second of him even looking at this wheel route, wanting to throw at it, because it's not there, allows Hill to read it. So right now he's reading it, and he's going to drive on it. As soon as he clears that little rub there, he drives. Because he knows they're not going at Ramsey. I know where they want to go with this football. I can read the route. And he just, okay. So as soon as Josh Allen pulls that ball up, he's already driving on it, and he gets an interception. Not because of only great coverage. It's good coverage. Don't get me wrong. Don't want to take anything away from him. But that happened solely because Ramsey was there and Ramsey was doing his thing. And he gave Josh Allen an enticing look, man. An enticing look. So when we see this, when you ask, what would we get out of a Ramsey? That's what we would get, man. That's what we get. Sadiqa, I appreciate it. She said, I'm still waiting on the film on Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. Good, because I'm working on the film for Will Anderson from Alabama. So you ain't going to be waiting too long. Trust me, I got you. I just, like I said, this was new news. So I just abandoned all of the draft breakdowns just to get a quick look at Wagner and Ramsey before they're not news, before they get picked up somewhere else, and this a moot point at that point. So, this just took priority. But that's all. That's all. At the end of the day, let me look and see what some of you guys were saying. Let me see what Matt's saying. He said also hurting. He wants a new hearing. He wants a new deal. I don't know if I'd be given the first or second round pick and having to pay an enormous amount of money to him and Diggs. Good point there. And I think that would be the only reason you don't see him here would be he would take Diggs' price up, because if he gets a lot of money, Diggs is going to want more or as much, and that's going to create a very expensive cornerback room. So if he wants a new deal and he gets one here, unless we made some drastic moves, I heard somebody say, I think Dom might have said it. Somebody said on my Twitter, you cut Zeke, you cut Tyron, you rework Zach Martin, and you let Schultz go and some other guys, right? And he said you could free up about $59 million. It might have been on my IG. But if you were to do something like that where we had an aggressive amount of money left because of those aggressive moves, then I could see something like this happening. But you got a good point, Matt. But this is just to look at him. What could he do for you? Whether or not he be here, I mean, we already know. See, no way I'm taking Odell over Ramsey. You tweaking. I feel you on that, blackness. My blackness. Let's see. Rams is a good CB. He's not as good as advertised, in my opinion. In a situation with Diggs, he could be really good. I'm not with the first round pick though. I agree. First round pick would be hard to take. Second round, if you're going for a corner anyway, and you feel that you could get him for some good money, okay. Yep. Okay, I already read these. Let me go down and see what else you guys are saying. Special K, what up, man? He said, what up? Ramsey would be a nice pickup for us. Sure would. Definitely, let's get these likes up. For sure. Let me know who you guys want me to break down next. What's up, babe? Rez Coit in the building. She said, hey, Okoye. What's up, babe? All right. DP Johnson. Okoye couldn't type till now. You must have got put in timeout. Ramsey across from Diggs is nuts. One in phase, the other out. Could mess QB's heads up and eyes up. Would drive up Diggs' price tag. I agree. Definitely true. New standard for the CB is 30 mil range now. Probably Brandon's writing service. What kind of writing service you got, man? Let's see what we got here. All right, let's see who we got. Mark Clark, I appreciate the super chat, man. He said, great work. Man, definitely appreciate the super chats when you guys throw it. But listen, the people who spend on not only Cash App, but super chat, y'all don't just got carte blanche to ask questions. I mean, everybody asks questions. I answer your questions anyway without you paying. But if you're going to pay me $50, bro, let me know who you want me to look at, what players you want me to look at, what type of breakdowns you're looking for, because, obviously, that's what I'm going to gravitate to, because, money talks. That's real shit. So if you throwing 50 up, you could just go ahead and tell me, what type of breakdowns you want to see. I already know Sadiqa Charles, she wants to see her baby cousin, Anderson Jr., who I will get into. I'm already looking at defensive ends next, so I'll finish out the running back phase. I'm going to then finish out Jalen and Bobby Wagner's film because I'm already in the middle of it, and then I'm getting right into defensive end and edge rushers in college next, and that'll be all next week. But Mark, let me know what you want to do, man, and I got you. Here we go. Craig Burnett, Ramsey isn't what they need. Use that money on a 2-year deal with Wagner. Not the same money, though. I don't want Wagner at a super high price tag, but Wagner doesn't get hurt. He will train up guys like Cox and Clark. So in 2 years, those guys will be ready to be like, they'll be out there ready to go. They'll understand how he reads. And I think this room will be better for it. And he also will help Micah Parsons play middle linebacker a lot better if we want him there full time later on. I think if you were to be able to get another bona fide edge rusher like Sam Williams in this draft that you could put outside, you put Parsons in the middle of the field and you forget all about Wagner and anybody else because Parsons is just as effective rushing from anywhere. It don't matter where you got him rushing from. And on third downs, you can move him around. So I think if we found the edge rusher that we like Sam Williams in this draft, then the Wagner conversation is less important, and it could be in the third round. They're kind of deep with edge rushers. I like Nolan Smith out of Georgia as well. He's a guy that's a great athlete and another chess piece like Parsons that can play middle linebacker, edge, a little bit of everything. So it's a lot of options that we have, but we won't know exactly what we want to do until after the draft. What we got here, Wagner provides some good defensive leadership for sure as well. That's very true. I think we need a beefy DT and a pass rusher. I would agree. A beefy DT, if Mozzie Smith is there in the second round, if he's there, I don't know about the first round for Mozzie. I don't think he's a first round talent, but I think he's a first round talent. I just don't think we would give up a first round for Mozzie Smith out of Michigan. But if he's there in the second round, third round, you snatch him. I don't even think he makes it that long though. But yeah, if you went and did that and then you went inside of Bobby Wagner, I wouldn't be mad at that, man. Let's see. I'm going to keep answering y'all questions real quick. And then I'll get back to the film after like the 30-minute mark, something like that. Give me Ramsey for not a first-round pick. He'll be way better with another top CB and this pass rush. That's why you could argue with Ramsey if you wanted. The other 3 teams didn't make the playoffs, the ones that he wants to go to. I think it's Seattle, Pittsburgh, and don't know what the last one was, but I know it was Seattle and Pittsburgh for sure were in his wish list out of 4 teams. But out of all of them, we're the only ones that made the playoffs. And I think we're the ones who you would say, okay, because of Diggs, would you come and play alongside Diggs for greatness and legacy rather than money? Meaning you're going to make some money, but you're not going to make top end because we know based on what we pay you, we're going to have to pay Diggs too, and we would rather keep you both. Would you do that, to try to take a run at a Super Bowl, and then we see what happens, or give you an incentive-laden contract where, it might not be something where you have to get a certain amount of interceptions, but it could be something where if this secondary goes from dut to dut, you know what I mean? We'll pay you this, something like that. I'm not sure, but anything is possible with the Cowboys. You never know. Okay, Mark Clark, thank you. He said, can you look at a defensive end on our team, sacks, tackles, and tackles for loss, hits on the QB, and first half of the season as opposed to the second half? That's a great breakdown, actually, after you finish your draft breakdowns. I'll do that in the midst, but yeah, for sure. And that's a great one. Let me make sure. Sadiqa, text me that, what Mark just said so that I know I have it. I don't have anything to write with right now, but text me that and I won't forget it because that's actually a great breakdown. I would actually be interested in looking at that as well because our pass rush stats definitely went down. Motorcycle going by. Definitely went down the second half of the season, and it'll be interesting to see why that happened. So that's definitely a good breakdown. I'll like to do that myself. I'm actually excited about that one. You got some good energy, Mark Clark. I think we will get Wagner. DQ will be talking to him for sure. I would like to go after Wagner as well. Wagner is a guy that quickly makes this defense better as well because I think what he would do, though, it would be the opposite of what I said before, which is he would solidify Parsons' role. He would seal his career at defensive end, I think. Because I think if you go another 2 years and Parsons doesn't play a good amount of snaps at middle linebacker, he's probably stuck at defensive end with some spot work at middle linebacker. because I don't think you even move him to middle linebacker with Bobby Wagner there, LVE here, if he's here. If you go get Bobby Wagner, you probably don't bring LVE back at all. But with Bobby Wagner here, Clark, Cox, I don't think you even bother putting Michael Parsons in rotation at middle linebacker. I really don't think he even gets in at all at middle linebacker if Bobby Wagner's here. So he will be stuck because he will become a full-fledged defensive end, which I really don't like. And the reason I don't like it is because we have a generation or once in a lifetime player. He's a once in a lifetime defensive end, but we could do something different with him at middle linebacker because of his pass rushing ability. He would be something that you've never seen before because he's still going to get his sacks. And I argue that he get more sacks with less snaps at defensive end. Sort of like I feel about Pollard being better with less snaps. Parsons is better with less snaps at defensive end because there's less wear and tear on his body and there's less chip blocks on his legs. He was getting beat up last year. And to Clark's Mark Clark, to your question about our pass rush in the second half of the season, that was a big part of it. Micah Parsons got beat up a lot, and they were shifting this line to Micah Parsons. Because of that, I feel that Micah Parsons will be better in the middle of the field because when him rushing in the middle of the field, number one, a center can't deal with Micah Parsons as far as agility or power. Neither can a guard. Power-wise, they can, but not agility. So they can't deal with him in the middle of the field, and it forces you to pinch your offensive line to the middle of the field because your best pass rusher is in the middle of the field playing spy, where you can get delayed blitzes. He's playing a running back. If that running back is in on pass protection, he can go anyway, so you don't even have to call blitzes for him. That's 2. 3, you can always put him outside on third downs or on obvious passing situations, but I think he needs more snaps inside, and that's the only argument to possibly not going after Wagner, unless you're going to say, hey, we're going to put Michael Parsons and Wagner side by side a lot. And that's even more insane to me. And that's if you go out and get you a bona fide pass rusher in the draft. Or if you just say, okay, D-Law, we're not going to go 3-4. We're still going to ask you to, get us some pressure on the outside while we do that. You could do that too, unless you're in a situation where it takes away those contained issues where Bobby Wagner and Parsons' ability to get sideline to sideline and get through the traffic allows you to eliminate the problem that you have with Lawrence, who likes to crash into the B gap. You don't have that much of a problem there because even if he does make that mistake, you'll see not mistake, but if he takes that gamble, which he does a lot, you'll see a lot of the things that Jalen used to do when Jalen's wheels were still good. What Jalen used to do, Jalen Smith, what he used to do with you can go look at this play actually against the Texans where that play where Watson gets on Deshaun Watson gets on the edge, and it's because D-Law crashed inside. But Jalen had tapped him and let him know, I got you outside, so you can go. So when you have a Wagner and Parsons, he can crash that as much as he wants because you have a guy that can erase that space that he's given up or keep contained for him and set that edge after he does it. So there's a lot of options, man. I'm liking the options that we have. DP says Dalvin Tomlinson from Minnesota. Tag is half guys everyone is screaming for. What do you think? Dalvin Tomlinson, I got to look at. Don't know him. Don't know his film. Like I said, I watch a lot of Cowboy. I know who he is, but I don't know him enough to say what he can do until I watch his film. Just like Jalen Ramsey. I know who Jalen Ramsey is, but I'm like, what is he really? And what is Bobby Wagner really when I look at the film? Because I thought that Anthony Barr was going to come in here and give us something, but I'm into what can they do once they get here on the Cowboys. So I have to look at his film, but go ahead, put it up. I'll definitely look into it a little later. Larry Lynch, he says, Akoya Mead, a big fan of you, but what do you think about trading for Marlon Humphrey? No. I think if you're going to go corner, you go big or you stay home. And why I say that is, to be quite honest, after watching the performance we put on in the playoffs with Izzy Mukamu, with a full offseason that's not riddled with murders, and I don't shy away from saying that because somebody lost their life because of your stupidity, and Boss Man, with a full offseason with Boss Man, I think that we might see a better Boss Man. So I'm still interested in him. I'm not totally sold or off of Nashawn Wright. I still think he might have something. But truth be told, our top 4, I'm happy with. I just think if you want to go crazy, you go get Ramsey. But our top 4, I'm happy with. I don't mind J. Lou coming back. I like him in the nickel, him and Bland rotating. If you had Bland, J. Lou, and then Diggs, I like that secondary. If you have Bland, Izzy, and Diggs, I like that secondary. So our top 4 corners, I think I like already going into the season. I just feel like we're a lot better with a Jalen Ramsey. But we're also a lot better with J. Lou being here because that allows Izzy Mukamu to be more like a chess piece. You can use him, spot work to erase certain guys, erase guys like C-Mac if you want to erase a running back. You can erase certain slot receivers, tight ends, things like that. You could do a lot of the things you're actually cursed to do without having to sacrifice a linebacker to bring Curse down in that spot. Because if you look at what we were able to do with Curse not here, we played a lot more 3-4 and we played a lot more base coverage. So I think if Curse were to whatever reason go down or just not be here next year or whatever, you got Izzy, and I think Izzy could be more of a chess piece if J. Lou is healthy. So I don't think you go for any other corners if you don't go for Ramsey, because you can draft a guy like Devin Weatherspoon. I just did nobody watched that shit, man. This what makes me not like draft season, because I'm not the draft guy, I guess. But nobody looks at my draft videos until we draft a guy. Then you watch the hell out of it. But I just broke down Devin Weatherspoon. He ain't even get 500 views, man. And I'm like, I work for views. So if I don't see no views, I'm like, fuck that shit. Excuse my French. But anyway, Devin Weatherspoon. So that just tells you guys, if you want me to continue to draft NCAA draft breakdowns, you got to watch them. Otherwise, I'll just keep breaking down our own players, our NFL players. But Devin Weatherspoon, who I just broke down, I love. So if he's there in the second round, take him. Third round, take him. And there's another guy I have to give Aisha Morris a nod on this one because she the one told me about this guy. Is it Emmanuel or Elijah Ford? Emmanuel Ford or Elijah Ford? I think he's in Utah. I don't know where he is. But she told me about him. I got to break him down too because she asked me to. But definitely like him as well. I think he's another Devin Weatherspoon type. Not very big, 6 foot, 180, but plays big. Pause. Brandon's writing service. We should have beat San Fran as well. Look how easy they went down when using what 4th string QB. Knock him out the game. Exactly. Yeah, knock the shit out of somebody, man. We gotta let our content team, Law, Vach, and Will Still, Boss, etc., run the FO for a year, and we'd have to fight off a Super Bowl. I don't know what FO means, man. I'm not good with abbreviation. Run the FO. Somebody fill me in on what FO means. I don't fucking know. All right. Here we go. I see. Larry Lynch, what about trading for Humphrey? Y'all keep saying that. No, I already answered that. Better not waste this elite D. I'm still bitter as hell about being taken out by San Fran. I am too, man. You ain't never gonna lay that down until we do better. Teams figured out Diggs in the middle was locked down and went at CB2. Did it with quick route slants and verticals. Also, stop mixing slam in. Okay. He was physical and helped wear out tackles. Yeah, you know why they mix slam in though. The reason they mixed them in is because when you got a guy like Sam Williams, and this is a business, and they are smart. The Cowboys are smart. One, they don't want a guy beat up before, like we had D-Law beat up when it was time for a contract. He already had a back issue. You don't want guys beat up when they're coming off of those rookie contracts, second rounders, all those guys. So it's good for the player. You don't want them beat up. And two, you don't want a guy like Slam Williams. Slam Williams would have been a double-digit sack guy. If he did that his first year, what do you think he's doing second or third? If he did his first and second year, he asking for money earlier than he would. So they mix him in because of that. They just try to hold him back a little bit because you can't tell me you didn't notice that Sam Williams is one of our better pass rushers, if not just as good as Micah Parsons. I mean, he's different, but vicious. As far as athleticism, he's a little stronger, a lot bigger, and crazy. So you can't tell me they don't notice that. They noticed it. We watching the film just like they are. But why wouldn't you put a guy like that in more? It's not because he's injured. Nothing was wrong with him. is because you want to hold him back a little bit so you don't got to pay him more a year from now. Because when they look at his trending stats over the seasons, they say, okay, your productivity is there, but you don't have the stats to justify a big contract. And then when he's in the contract year, they're going to cut him loose his third year. I guarantee it. You don't cut him loose. You're going to see a little bit more of him this season. If there's injuries or something like that that warrants it, then you'll see him. They did the same thing with Dorrance Armstrong. He was being kind of like split. They did it to Randy Gregory too. They were splitting Randy Gregory and Dorrance Armstrong because they knew Gregory is going to ask for more money right now. Dorrance Armstrong, same thing. He's going to ask for more money this season. You know what I'm saying? So that's like without anybody saying it, that's the business decision that you see the Cowboys doing. They did it to Wilson too. They did it to Wilson. They tried to bring Kurtz in here to kind of mix in and rotate Wilson out. Because look, now you got to pay Wilson, and they would have had to pay him more had Kurtz not been here, because his stats would have been all the more better. So that's just part of the money ball that they're playing with these guys. They know what they're doing. It's a reason Jabril Cox isn't playing. Jabril Cox is a guy that immediately jumps off the screen, and he would have made it so that I don't think you even have Kurtz here if Jabril Cox is playing. I really trust his coverage that much, because the role that Kurtz is playing is tailor-made for Jabril Cox. I've been saying it since he got drafted. Jabril Cox is he's a linebacker that can play like a corner. And that's exactly, and you have a corner or a safety that's playing linebacker in Kurtz. So they're interchanging as far as their strengths, but their role will be the same. You would just get a little bit better and more stout if you had a 4-3 base with a Will and Cox in there. Brillo would do that a lot better. In my opinion, as far as the run is concerned. And pass as well. His man coverage is probably one of the better man cover players on this team. And that's real. He's vicious when it comes to coverage. You got to make a clickbait title. Yeah, I'll make a clickbait title, man. I'm not a clickbaity guy, man, but I'll try. Craig Walker, what up, brother? He said, what up, Okoye? Like the work you put in, man. I love it. Front office, got you. Okay, so we got to make a lot of noise at the front office to make sure these guys go and give us what we want. That's what we got to do. Yeah, gotta make some noise. All right, Okoye Media, Keely Ringo, CB. I like he's 6'2", 215. Okay, he ran a 4.3. God damn, he's a Pat Pete. All right, what's his number? I can Google that. But yeah, text that to me too, Sadiqa. I got you. All right, DJ's World, CB2 or wide receiver. What would I go with? What is this kid's name? I keep forgetting it, man. Who the fuck did we draft last year? What's the wide receiver we drafted last year, man? That's how bad he was, man. That's how bad he was this season, man. What's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about, man. But the wide receiver we drafted last year, whatever young boy who can't line up on sides, man. What the hell is his name? Somebody say his name real quick, please. Rue Glock in the building. He said, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Yeah, Tolbert. There you go. Jalen Tolbert. I always forget Tolbert's name, man. Tony Tolbert. Won't forget it. All right. I actually think he's a good player. He's not a burner, though. So I think you go after, if you go wide receiver, the wide receiver I would go at if he's there, because he's like, I love Kadarius Toney, and he reminds me of him, and that's Zay Flowers. If Zay Flowers is there, anytime, I don't give a fuck, first, second, whatever, take him. But outside of that, I think you can get wide receiver later in the draft, so you're going to grab one anyway. And you said corner. There's a lot of corners that I like in the first and second round that aren't going to be there in the third. Joey Porter Jr. is one of them. I would take him over a receiver, personally speaking, unless Zay Flowers is there. He's the only wide receiver that I would say, not because there's other wide receivers that aren't better or just as good, but because that kid, the African kid from Ohio State, forget his name, number 11, he was hurt this year, but what he put, his body work is crazy too. But what Flowers, I think he's a guy that if he's there in the second round, number 11 from Ohio State, if he's there in the second round, I would take him. But Zay Flowers is a guy that you put underneath with a lot of those little drag routes, especially in a West Coast offense. You give him the ball where, he got space and opportunity. You opening it up and you freeing it up for guys like Gallup. Gallup will be one-on-one and press man as that X receiver. And then you'll have guys like CeeDee Lamb able to kill in the deep middle or in dig routes. CeeDee Lamb is a dig route, drag route, slant route guy, not this deep post stuff. A deep post guy is a guy like Zay Flowers, a guy that can get there, get to the post, and put pressure on that safety. That's not so much CeeDee Lamb, and that's why every time we tried that with CeeDee Lamb, we had a problem because he never threatened the safety. The safety was sitting every time. Like, if a safety is still sitting there for you to even have to cross his face, it's because he didn't bail. He's not bailing because that's not CeeDee Lamb's thing. That's a Amari Cooper thing. That is not a CeeDee Lamb thing. You know what I mean? CeeDee Lamb is a guy that gets physical at the top of routes, and is a guy that you want to get the ball in his hands early, like a young Gallup, where you can give him a drag route, slant route, and he can break tackles and go. So you ISO CeeDee Lamb. You don't put CeeDee Lamb in the post situation. But the reason we had to do that is because CeeDee Lamb had to play in the slot because of not only his route running, but because he was our best receiver and his route running. His lack of route running or release issues made it so we had to hide him from the line of scrimmage. You don't like when I say this, but he's a lot like Debo in that regard. We had to hide him from the line of scrimmage by playing a lot of bunch coverage, bunch formations, and a lot of stuff in the slot so that you can't get your hands on him, and he doesn't have to worry about his release, and he can get into space quicker. But that was forcing him to have to take those post routes and stuff across the deep middle, which isn't his thing for real. When you watch him in college, that's not what he was doing. He was on the outside, and he was doing a lot of in-breaking stuff, getting the ball in his hands fast, allowing him to decide what he wants to do with the ball. Okay, let's go. Tolbert is the deep post. Tolbert is the route running guy. It's just, I don't know what was up with him, man. Maybe we need a wide receiver coach, although historically speaking, Mike McCarthy, but I just answered the fucking question for myself. You know what the problem with Tolbert was? Thank you for bringing up Tolbert. I'll get into that in 1 second. Cowboy culture, I appreciate it. He got the Will Smith crying face. I appreciate it. He said, I like Trey Palmer out of Nebraska, 6'4", and gets open. Sadiqa Charles, please text me Trey Palmer. I'm going to look at him. When I look at the receivers, these are the receivers that are going to be in the rotation. I don't go by PFF. I don't go by ESPN unless nobody's talking. But anyway, the problem with Tolbert, you know what it was? In an option system, he didn't even come from a big school. So not only did he have to learn NFL, spacing, NFL routes, and so on, because they used to just tell him to get open. For real, that's what he said. I was on my. But in an option system where as many option routes as we have, not only do you have to already be a good receiver, but your football IQ has to be crazy, and your chemistry with Dak has to be crazy to even see the field. That's probably what was wrong with Tolbert. You're not going to see the field if you don't understand the options. If you don't understand what to do, and they probably are looking at that in practice, like, what do you do in this situation? He was on the hot seat and probably didn't figure that out fast enough. But the reason, and I was saying this about Mike McCarthy, the reason Mike McCarthy has historically been a great friend to the quarterback and a friend to wide receivers. You had Donald Driver, you had Jordy Nelson, you had Randall Cobb, you had Jennings, you had James Jones. He develops him and Mike Tomlin from Pittsburgh because they both were wide receiver coaches at some point in their career. They developed wide receivers fast as hell because of the West Coast offense. So this West Coast offense is going to help Tolbert out a lot because it's going to help Dak out a lot because it's going to give him quick looks and get the ball out of his hands fast as hell. And it's not as many option-laden calls or plays in the scheme like we had with Kellen Moore. So I just answered that. I didn't even know that was a thing until, that just came live because of something you guys said. But I appreciate that because that just answered it for me. I was trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with Jalen Tolbert. But that's probably what was wrong with him right there, man. That's what was wrong with him. Mark Smith, don't worry about wide receiver in the first round. Draft Gibbs and you get a 2-for-1. He can run, catch out of the backfield. And if we didn't have Turpin, he would be a kickoff returner as well. There's only one reason and one reason only I don't like the idea of getting Gibbs. We don't need two Tony Pollards. And Gibbs is a Tony Pollard. He plays exactly like Tony Pollard. I like him a lot. He's probably more running back than receiver than Tony Pollard is. Tony Pollard's more receiver than running back than Gibbs is. But in the West Coast scheme, if Tony's healthy, you don't need Gibbs, or at least you need him but he's not going to see the field as much because any play you would call for Gibbs, you're going to call for Tony first. So where does Gibbs get on the field? You ain't going to put him on the field in short yardage situations. You ain't going to say be the bell cow because that's not him. He only 200 pounds. He going to need a whole season to put on, like Tony did, to put on a little bit more weight to be able to carry the load because Tony went from 200 to 215. He about 215, 217 now. He's going to be probably about 220 coming into this season after the injury. It might slow him down a little bit, and he want to put on some weight to carry more the ball a little bit more. That's where you want Tony Pollard, but he gradually got in the weight room and got himself up to that. Gibbs, I wouldn't go get only in that first round anyway, only because of that. I think any team that's looking for a Tony Pollard, though, who is one of the best, if not the best running back in the league, one of the best in the league, any team that's looking for a Tony, definitely go get Gibbs. But we don't need him here, personally speaking. And it don't matter what you do with Zeke. You still don't need Gibbs here. You need a guy like Kendre Miller, or you need a guy like, if you get a Bijan, he's a guy that can do what Tony can do too, but he can also do what Zeke can do, which is he's a bigger guy. He's already 220. In next year, he'll be about 230. And he's a bigger guy that you can ask to do some of that LaDainian Tomlinson type stuff where he's not a power runner, but he's powerful. So you can ask him to carry the load and be a bell cow and spell Tony when you want him to. I don't think you could do that with Gibbs. That's why I don't like Gibbs, only because Tony's here, and I think Tony's going to be here. So you don't go get a guy like Gibbs. I would think, to me, Charbonnet, Corum, the little dude from Michigan, those guys are more valuable to the Cowboys than a Gibbs is because they can do something different than what we already have on the roster. And that's not saying anything about Zeke. Even if Zeke's not here, it doesn't matter. You still have a Malik Davis who's a power guy who you can actually do some of that power, straight line, one cut back type of stuff. Then you get a Corum or you get a Charbonnet or whatever, however you say his name. I say Charbonnet. But you go get a guy like that to be a short yardage guy if you don't have a Zeke here. If Zeke's here, then you still need a guy that could be that third guy, and you want a more versatile guy with power to play with those guys. I don't think you want a guy like Gibbs, personally speaking. I don't. I like him, though. Somebody told me about the kid Anaconda from Pittsburgh. Matter of fact, Big Kurt, 17. He told me about it on my IG. I gotta look at him. He a beast. For those who, that's who it is too. Israel. Somebody was telling me about Israel. I'm going to look into Israel. He's a nice third down back. You're actually right. Israel's a little sturdy too, but Gibbs is nice. But the kid Bixby is a guy that I like as a third guy too because he runs so violent. I would never in his career give him a lot of carries because he's gonna hurt himself, man. He'll have a career like Carson because he's so vicious at the end of runs. He don't take care of his body. I don't know. I'm not talking about the off-field type of stuff as far as taking care of his body. I'm talking about on the field. He'll have an option to go out of bounds. He does what Zeke did in the Lions game. Instead of running out of bounds, he tries to cut shit back upfield or runs right into people. Until he stops that, I would say Bixby is a great guy. I like him out of Auburn, but you go and get him as a third option in the three-headed system. You don't go get him and say, hey, be our bell cow guy because he's going to get hurt. Let's see. Mozzie Smith. Let's see what Wayne's World is talking about. He said, Mozzie Smith, Nolan Smith. Oh, any top corner, Drew Sanders. I'll take these guys over at 26 over a wideout. You are correct, brother. I would agree with you, man. Nolan Smith, I like a lot if he's there because he's just as versatile as he's a poor man's Micah Parsons. If you want two guys and you don't know what the hell they're doing and you want to run like a semi 3-4 look, you go get Nolan Smith and you call it a day. Because if you get Nolan Smith and you run a 3-4 and you have him and Micah Parsons, I don't care if Nolan's in the middle or Micah's in the middle. You don't know what either of those guys are doing pre-snap. You don't know. They both can cover. Nolan plays linebacker a little bit in Georgia, and I'm looking at his film now. As a matter of fact, since you said it, since I'm looking at his film, let me see if I can find this film. If I can't, then I won't show it. But let me see if I can get a quick look at Nolan Smith since I already got him queued up. Let me see if I don't know if I can pull it up while you guys are on here, but let me see. There we go. I got it. Damn, where is it at? Okay, some of this stuff, because you're going to see these little, I don't like this ticker. Some of this stuff is missing because some of the cuts are missing. They want to relocate, unable to locate. Okay, I might have snagged certain things that aren't in the film anymore. So you might miss some things. Yeah, you're going to miss some stuff in this Nolan breakdown. But you'll get the picture. I could still do it. All right, why not? I like what I see in Nolan Smith. So since you guys asked about Nolan Smith, y'all going to get that live since I'm still on here. Let me jump on real quick and share the screen. Let me share the screen. And bing. All right, let's look at Nolan. Work with me. When you see these little red, hey, what's up, Loving Aries? When you see these little red screens, that's because there's a glyph or a picture, that a ping file that's not located. So this is still a work in progress. So this is like looking at a house before before the finishing work is done. So bear with me. But this is Nolan, number 4 right there on the edge. He's very stout against the run. He's not a big guy. He's about 6'3", 6'4", 230. But the things they were asking him to do in Georgia, I liked a lot. They moved him around a lot. On this play here, and this is what's actually missing, the point outs and the call outs on the plays, because I had like different. Let me see. I can't locate any of these files. Relocate. Let me see if I can relocate this. Let me see. Boom. Is it there? Nope, it's not there. All right, that file's not there. But anyway, I'll point it out with the mouse. You just got to look at the mouse. All right, boom. And just watch some of the stuff he's doing. He definitely we don't have that problem. A lot like Dante Fowler when he was here, you won't have a problem with Contain when he's on the outside because his athleticism allows him to erase his own mistakes. So even when he gets too far upfield, here he is on the left side this time, or on the right side if you're looking at the defense. You know what I mean? If you're coming from the offensive perspective, he's on the left side of the offense, left side of the screen. All right, so boom. He does a lot of things where like even when he gets too far inside, his athleticism is freaky because he definitely can run. So when you look at what he was able to do over here in Georgia, I like Nolan Smith because not so much because of his pass rushing ability, it's more so his athleticism and his versatility. He's a guy in the first round that if you went and got him late in the first round, early second, or in the second round period, he allows you to confuse offenses by having him out on the edge sometimes with Micah Parsons in the middle of the field. Like I said, you won't know what they're doing because you'll see later in this film that Nolan was even asked a little bit um, to play coverage. Let me make sure I got to jump back on the screen just to see what you guys are saying because I can't read anything you're saying in the chat. Check out Roshan Johnson. Sadiqa, Roshan Johnson, please text me that. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you guys can see it because sometimes I'm running my mouth, but I don't know what you guys are saying. So let me just make sure. I had to make sure you guys are cool in there. Let me keep going with Nolan though. All right, you got Nolan on the left side of the screen again. Here he is in coverage. So although he's not a shutdown guy by any means, but they asked him to play coverage sometimes, and he did a great job in space. Like he has great pursuit angles. You see him here at middle linebacker or will linebacker, Sam, whatever. I think it's more like a will on this one. Boom. He definitely flows to the ball naturally like a linebacker. He didn't look like a defensive end playing out of position there. If you want to see that again, this is why I like him though, because you don't know what he's doing and you can put him anywhere. So they'll ask him to play coverage sometimes. So here he knows he's not trying to get upfield. He knows that they're running a stunt here, and he just said, "Okay, I got you." Nakobe Dean was blitzing on the opposite side, so that was their 4-man rush, and he became the odd man, and he just basically flipped with Nakobe there. And on this one, he's playing coverage, and he's strong side here, and he's going to hold up well, strong side. He reads, assesses, flows to the ball, very patient, and gets rid of his blocker quickly because the way he is in space, he uses his feet in space very well. Very well. I like him. Sometimes he lets guys get into his frame, and that's what you saw there a little bit. But his athleticism helps him get past that. He's a lot like Sam Williams in that regard, and I think that was similar to Sam Williams, except for Sam's bigger and wasn't asked to be a coverage guy, but they kind of have the same raw skills as far as pass rushing is concerned. They use their raw athleticism and he lets guys get into his frame. Pause. A little too often in my book, and that's him on the left side. Obviously, you can see there. But even when he's all the way inside, and his athleticism is freaky, because he can still chase that down from the back end, which he does here, which and creates pressure. So I like a lot of the things that you see out of Nolan Smith. So whoever brought him up, as you can see, I'll be finished his film soon, but I'm not really working on it right now because there's other guys and other things I'm doing. But I like Nolan. Next week, the defensive ends like Nolan and those guys will be out. But you can see here what the concept is in regards to how I would use them, especially if we're going 3-4. But there you go. There he goes. There, letting guys get into his frame. This is what I mean by that. His speed, he's so far upfield so fast that sometimes that punch gets to him and he doesn't realize he's not that big of a guy. So, at 230, once they get into your frame, you're done. You got to look at a little bit of Shaq Barrett's film and some of those smaller Rashawn Mathis, Dwight Freeney, some of those small defensive ends type of techniques to keep guys' hands off you. Because once they get their hands on you, it's over. There he is in coverage over there. He plays coverage and then comes in just like he looks like a linebacker right here. So like I said, you don't know what he is, and he's really more of an athlete that can play 5 positions. He can play defensive end, outside linebacker on either side, and any linebacker position, Will, Sam, or middle. More of a Will or Sam though, but I like how he plays. Here he is again. He's playing linebacker, I believe, on this particular play. And then he just, reads the edge and then gets inside. And you see how he just avoids this block here? You see how he avoids that block here? He uses his feet a lot like Micah Parsons and Sam Williams, where they trust that athleticism so much. He knows this guy's coming to blow him up. He gets rid of 85 quick, man. He's supposed to get trap blocked on this one. And he just uses his feet, boop, and gets right to it. So his lateral movement and his ability to see what they're trying to do to him and how the offenses are trying to attack him makes him a great player at 26. So if he's there at 26, I agree with you, man. I wouldn't be mad if we took him. And you see how much attention they pay him. They're chip blocking him in college the way you see Micah Parsons getting chip blocked, man. Here he is playing a little bit more coverage on the edge there. And this is why I say he's in space getting blocked and still makes it to the ball. And there's going to be a play that's going to remind you of Parsons in that Chicago game as well, where he's going to miss, I think, in the backfield. This might be the play right here. He's going to miss in the backfield. This isn't it. But there he is playing more like a linebacker role there, flowing, getting back to the ball, finding the football, set the edge first, then use his feet to kind of skate back to the football. We see that a lot in Parsons, as I said before. Where is it? He's on the right side of the screen here, playing linebacker, playing a little bit coverage here. And these, like I said, these are the reasons that I like him as a versatile guy. He might not be the best defensive end in the draft. He might not be. He's definitely not the best linebacker in the draft, but he is one of the most versatile linebacker / defensive end edge guys in the draft. And he's a guy that I can see Pittsburgh loving, or any 3-4 defense. They would love him. They would love him because he could do a little bit of everything for you. There he is there. You see how he reads both. He reads the quarterback and that reverse, and then chases this down. But he blows plays up because of his athleticism. You don't know what to do against him, man. And I like the way he plays, man. So let's see. I don't know exactly what he's doing. He's playing coverage, getting underneath this pass. Doesn't break it up, but he makes the quarterback have to, kind of adjust his throw there, and it's an incompletion because of that. You know what I mean? But a lot of the things he does might not show up as far as the stats, because he might not have the stats where it's, he's crazy with it. I think this is the play that he chases down, but he might not have the stats that are crazy, but his athleticism is crazy. Look at that. Now you see where he was after this play, right? Before this is what I was pointing out. See where he is here? This is like that Micah Parsons play in Chicago. This is a hustle play, and this is why I liked it. He hustles back. He doesn't make the play, but he's there for the fumble recovery because he could chase things down from the back end. So his speed, he got that fumble recovery because of that. Micah took it back to the house, though. It's a little different. But his speed on the outside is crazy because he's only 230, and his pursuit is crazy. So him opposite side of Micah Parsons, opposite side of Lawrence, opposite side Sam Williams, or in the middle of the field, I like it. And he gets his run grade, his grade for run stopping is ridiculous. He can definitely stop the run. So he's a guy that no matter where he is, I think on the edge he actually is a better run stopper than Micah Parsons on the edge, because Micah Parsons they were using that against him on the edge a lot because of his idea about getting upfield, his aggression towards the quarterback. He wanted to get upfield so bad that sometimes he gave stuff up on the edge when it came to the run. Nolan Smith doesn't. He doesn't at all. So that's Nolan Smith real quick for you. Just a little live breakdown. I will do an official breakdown for you guys a little later. But I just wanted you guys to see that. All right, so I'm back to the chat. Let me see what he's saying, what you guys are saying here. Let me get off of here real quick and get back to the screen. My bad, people. All right, let me see what we got here. He said, I'm scared to sign TP. He said, I'm scared to sign PP. I would like to see the legs of a young running back. Y'all so vicious when it comes to running backs. I hate it, but I love it. Y'all don't got no heart, no love for running backs, man. If you come here and you get hurt, we like, fuck you, man. That's the way the Cowboys fan base is, man. I think TP will be fine. It might not be this season, but I think he'll be fine. I wouldn't get rid of TP because he got hurt. And if you're looking at running backs that way, you'll never have a linear running back. Oh, they out there shooting it up. Damn. Y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that? That got to be fireworks. They tearing it the fuck up outside, man. Y'all hear that? That's Philly for you, man. And I don't even live in a bad neighborhood. I live in a college town. I live in University City. I don't even live in the bad hood. And it's still crazy. That's crazy. Voch just dropped the Nolan Smith vid. Oh shit, Voch on it. My man. Well, I'm still gonna do it. I already started it, so I can't not do it now. Can't not do it now. Koye, draft me 2 backs. I feel you. Voch in the building. My guy, where he at? Get the strap. You already know. What you think right here, Voch? That's a rifle right here, baby. I mean, I always got it near me, and I think I got my baby. I know it's in my sunroom. I got my baby always near me. It's always a gun near me somewhere in this house, man. I don't play that shit. He said, Okoye, I don't hear it, but get the hell out of Philly. Appreciate Voch. Yeah. What you think of Nolan, Voch, since you on here, man? I know you like him. I already know what type of guys you like, but I haven't looked at your breakdown yet, but I know you saw that versatility for sure. He said Parks Casino near Philadelphia. Yeah, Parks Casino ain't no joke. Oh, Charlene Evans, you too. I owe you a breakdown because you sent me a super chat, not a super chat, but a cash app last week or last live or something like that. Stop just sending them. I appreciate the love, but don't just send them. That's just wasted love. I wanna pay back the people who show love. So when you show me love with super chats or cash apps, I want to break down the stuff that you guys ask. So let me know what you want as well, because you sent me a nice hefty one. I appreciate that. So let me know. Let me know. Okay, not because he get hurt, more because the money. I refuse to pay another running back $10 million. It ain't your money, Matt. It ain't your money. Why you? I don't want to pay a running back $10 million either though. If TP on a hurt leg asks for more than $10 million, I guess he got to go. Great run player, attacks the pullers. Yep, sets the edge, smooth, long, quick, bendy, can man and zone cover. Sign me up for Nolan Smith. I agree with you 100%, Vachi. If he did at 26, I feel the same way. He's a guy that whether you go 3-4 or not is so versatile that you have 2 chess pieces in him and Micah Parsons. I call him the poor man's Micah Parsons. He can do a little bit of everything, and is a lot better. I think will be a lot better year 2, just like Sam Williams, as far as his pass rushing, and Micah Parsons as far as their pass rushing in year 2, because I think he just need a little bit of work of keeping guys' hands off of him. Other than that, I love him too. So agree. And I'll shout out to Voch Lombardi. Make sure you guys, and shameless plug, make sure you guys check out his breakdown on Nolan Smith too. I'm doing one as well, but Voch don't never miss. So make sure you check that out if you're on here and you haven't. And I know y'all know who Voch is if you're on here, but make sure you check that out. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Koye, trade for D Hop or Judy. I don't want to trade for no receivers. I think with the West Coast offense, our receiving room is going to go up. I honestly think that already. I think Tolbert he'll get better or he'll get the hell out of here. I think you do draft a receiver, but I don't want to trade. I don't want to spend big money on trading for another receiver. If you're going to do that, to be honest, it just makes the Cooper trade look crazy. Like, why the hell did you get rid of Cooper then? If you was going to go trade for another one anyway. His major is mathematics. Oh, that boy's smart. I like it. Who majored mathematics? I don't know who you're talking about. Probably talking about TP maybe. Big Botch in the building. Exactly. I guess you're agreeing with me on that one. Agreeing with me on that. All right. So listen, anything else you guys want me to cover? This has been a long one. I've been on here for an hour. Y'all got the. Let me just go over this for those who just joined up. Is because y'all guys do this all the time. You jump on late, and then you're like, "Why are you not talking about the title?" The title is Jalen Ramsey. If you go back to the beginning of this video, and I will cut it just so it's just that segment because I kept going after that breakdown. But Jalen Ramsey is a guy that, like I said, I feel that the things that he's able to do as far as tilting the defense towards the middle of the field, if you are towards guys that already are ball hawks, like Diggs, like Bland, like J. Lou, he will make those guys better because you don't want to throw at him either. And with him opposite side Diggs, you're basically funneling all the traffic to the middle of the field. And we play single high safety a lot. That safety won't even have to break the hash. Why? He can just sit on everything. Hooker can sit on everything. You know, Wilson, I would even say, hey, Wilson could sit in the middle of the field and just take heads off. Because how often are you going to throw outside with Diggs and Ramsey on opposite sides of each other? If you wanted to go for a Super Bowl and you just say, hey, man, we're going to spend money and go right after it, you go after Ramsey. And the only way we would do that is if you could sell Ramsey on the – this is only one way it happens. If you could sell Ramsey on the idea that we're the only team he wants to go to that made the playoffs, and it's not a money play for him because he already got some money. So if it's not a money play for you and you want to win again and you want to be that Dion type of mercenary that you are and you want to win again, you come here. And the reason you come here is because him being added to this defense with a guy like Nolan being added or a Wagner. And the reason I say Nolan or Wagner, because a guy that either allows Parsons to kind of free up and get back to the middle in a Nolan, or a Wagner that allows Parsons to just do his thing on the outside. Either way, if we could shore up the run defense without having to do too much, either one of those pieces get added, a good linebacker or another good edge rusher with a Jalen Ramsey on this team, it makes it so that you can't really run the ball already if we do it that way. We already are pretty good up the middle with the run with Hankins being added. And I think with a good guy that can set the edge out there in either Nolan or a guy from the middle that could play sideline to sideline like a Wagner, you can't run the ball. You're not going to run the ball very well if they're all healthy. And then you can't throw the ball on the edges with a Jalen Ramsey here. So if you looked at that and he came here because of the legacy and took less money, that allows you to not be leveraged out by Diggs a season from now when he wants his money. And I think you got to pay Diggs this year too. You want to extend him by the end of the season. So we're going to free up some money to try to keep him. And that's the only way I think you get a Jalen Ramsey, though, is if he agrees to take less money to come here to win. Otherwise, I don't think you'll see him here if he asks for a crazy price tag. And the only reason is because of Diggs. Because if you give Jalen Ramsey a blockbuster trade and you re-sign him to more money, Diggs is going to try to rape you. Oh, excuse my French. I don't like to say the R word, retarded or rape. I just said both. My bad. But he's going to try to get you for some money if Jalen Ramsey makes money. Period. That's going to happen. Ruglock says, I love D-Hop, but he's a similar type of wide receiver to the guys we already got. It's not coincidental that T.Y. was able to come in and make plays. True. We don't need another big possession guy. I think D-Hop is a guy that's a lot like a CeeDee Lamb, except for he wants the ball thrown to him even when he ain't open. D-Hop wants the ball in traffic. And Dak ain't a traffic guy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we go after D-Hop. I want a fast receiver, period. Tolbert is another possession guy, but I think he runs routes very well. And I think, like I said, the West Coast is going to free him up. But I don't think you go after D-Hop at all. I like Zay Flowers. I like guys like that. Quick twitch athletes, especially in the West Coast offense, because a quick twitch athlete like a Lockett Those guys, even though they're smaller, Percy Harvin, because he was in the West Coast too. Those little guys, even you might even see in the West Coast, you might even see us use Turpin a little bit more in the pass game because those little guys, when you can get them the ball fast in space, they can do you some damage. They're not as half as effective in the downfield stuff and the long developing running gun offense that we were running with Kellen Moore. So and that spread offense really. But yeah, I think that in this offense, Turpin would do well, and I think Zay Flowers would just wreak havoc all over this offense, all over defenses. The salt and pepper mustache is looking awesome. Oh, Philly Dom, what's up with you, bro? I cut off the Philly beard, man. I got tired of the beard for a second. I said I was looking older than I actually am, even though I'm about to be 40 this year. I was looking like I was like 45. So I said, nah, man, I don't even look that old for real, for real. It's the beard. So I cut it off just to see if I like it. And I might go back to it. I love my beard, but it was making me look old, especially with the salt and pepper growing in. I'm like, man, I look like an old ass man. Somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody, might mistake me for a senior. I don't like that shit. So, I mean, had to do something about it. But anyway, that runs the gambit, man. I told y'all about Jalen Ramsey. If you want to watch the Jalen Ramsey, yeah, I checked out Anaconda, THC me. I talked about him Israel a second ago. I will break him down. But if y'all want to see what I had to say about Ramsey, definitely jump to the beginning of the video after I stop this live stream and get you a back behind the scenes look. And I gave you a behind the scenes look at Nolan Smith as well. So thank y'all for that. I appreciate all the super chats. The Cash App is up here too, just in case you guys want it. One last time is $formless. And remember, don't send me Cash Apps without a request. I appreciate the love. That don't mean don't send me no money. If you want to send me your money and don't get nothing for it, that's your business. But send me Cash Apps with a request for whatever you want to see. And I'm making note of it. Sadiqa's been great at moderating. Matt too. Davey. Any of you guys that communicate with me outside of live streams, those who have my number or those who have my IG. So Davey, if you guys saw any that I missed in the chat, make sure you IG me. Guys that you want me to break down, or players that you want me to break down in the draft and or in the league, free agency, whatever, I'll do it. And I'll make note of it and I'll get them done. And if you guys have my number, text me. So those who have my number, if you saw something that I didn't see in the chats, like Anaconda and those guys, definitely want to see it, man. But I'm out of here. Let me see who says something. I think somebody threw something out there. For citing his beard or for cutting my beard. I appreciate it. He said, "Thank you for cutting the beard." You wild. I'm 49. I'm a senior. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm getting old, man. Oh, you said you pissed. You pissed I cut. That's only because you took your shahada, Sadiqa. You know what I'm saying? So the Muslim beard is a popular thing. The Sunni is what we call it up here, the Sunnah. But the Sunni beard in Philly is like a popular thing, and that's the other thing. I look like everybody else in Philly with my beard, and you don't want to look like everybody else in this damn city. It's like you don't want to be one of those guys that be like, there you go, right there. Like, no, it ain't me, bro. There you go, right there. You already hear the fireworks outside. You don't want to be a there you go. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like fucking Boys in the Hood, like Ricky. You know what I mean? I don't need none of that. And don't you ever cut it again. Damn, Sadiqa, you gonna do me like that? Damn. My daughter ain't she ain't have a problem with it. My daughter looked at me like I was crazy, but she ain't have a problem with it. He said, Ruglock at Davey said, I agree. Deep Hop is better than the rest of them dudes. It would just make them look crazy after trading away Coop. You know how this front office operate. Yeah, they not gonna let that narrative get out. Are we gonna go make another blockbuster trade after Coop? Then they gonna have to tell why they really got rid of Coop, ain't they? Yeah, and you know why? Because he said Dak is the black Kirk Cousins. I don't care what nobody say. That's a conspiracy theory, and I'm sticking with it because it's the only thing that makes sense. I'm like, why did they get rid of my mans? It don't make no sense. I'm still talking. I said I was going a long time ago. Okay, then go trade for Judy. No. I don't think you trade for a receiver when you got receivers in the draft that we like, man. No. Nope. Nope. We gonna get a healthy Gallup this season, hopefully. And you got a CD Lamb. We need a burner that can play the slot or that can move. You can move around and have some speed that can stretch defenses out. That's all. That's all. He said, "Yeah, y'all want to be that." There you go. Yeah, that's how it is in Philly. You look like everybody. You might get mistaken. It might be some mistaken identity out here, man. I don't need that in my life. You know what I'm saying? Judy is better than any of these receivers in the draft. Yeah, but what you want to give up for him, though? We're gonna have to give up something for him that you ain't gonna want to give up. So what we giving up for him is the question, bro. I don't want to give up a lot for him. I like Judy. I'm not trying to shit on Judy at all. But what would you give up for him? I mean, it don't make sense. Oh, it's the vaccine. I think no vaccine is a conspiracy. I can't blame Cooper. Oh yeah, I mean, if he ain't do that, he's a smart man. I to each his own. If you went and did it, but I, I mean, that might be the reason though. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna talk about that here because they like to flag the hell out of me anyway. I don't even gotta do nothing. I get sandbagged anyway, so I'm not talking about that. She said beers are sexy to me. I always like the Philly beer as long as it's groomed. Oh, exactly, exactly. Yeah, that probably was an issue. I don't know if they would trade a guy because he's not vaxxed though, but I understand him not doing it. Especially after you watch what happened to Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin won't even tell nobody why that happened to him. Somebody told me he was dead, man. Had me really go down a whole rabbit hole. But the crazy thing is, he really had a death certificate. But maybe that popped up because he died on the field. I don't know. But he had a death certificate that's in Pennsylvania, which is crazy. I don't know why. But I'm like, is he dead? And then I seen him in the interview. I'm like, yo, man, come on, man. I'm glad I ain't run with that. I'm glad I ain't run with that story. Jesus Christ. I'd have been out here looking crazy. They're like, Cody ain't crazy with a tinfoil hat, man. Almost got me out of here. Anyway, I think I'm done, man. Love y'all. Love what I do. I will be back. I will do a lot more lives for y'all too. So I'll be back probably tomorrow. I'm working around the clock now, so you know I'm on it. He said deep fakes have gotten good though. I don't know if that'll be a hell of a fucking deep fake if he not really alive. That's a lot. I don't even want to go there, man. Yo, who got 7 shots? Mark Clark. Yo, stop, bro. I'll call you 50 Cent from now on. Matter of fact, that's exactly what your name is. You sent me $50 and you took 7 shots. 50 took 9 shots, but you took 7 and you still here. So I'm gonna call you 50 Cent or Curtis Jackson every time you jump on here, man. Your name is no longer Mark Clark. It's 50. Cause that's crazy. He got the booster for the boosters, for the booster, and for that booster, he got another booster. You out your goddamn mind. I would never. You know what I'm saying? Your blood probably look like fucking gravy by now, man. Brown sludge. But I'll talk to you later, man. I love y'all. I'm out. Ghost, you just got here, man. You too late. But the good thing is, as soon as I hit stop, you're going to be able to go. Watch the beginning. Love y'all. I'm out. Peace.